Notice that at the end of every episode, it says, like, the starring, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Yes.
That's how she's billed.
Yes.
When the credits roll at the end, stand alone. Nobody else is on the page. But Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Something's gone horribly wrong inside Netflix, and Meghan Markle is right at the center of the storm. What began as a $100 million Hollywood dream has spiraled into a crisis so intense that insiders say top executives are now scrambling behind the scenes, desperate to contain the fallout. Reports of chaotic launches, failing shows, and explosive internal backlash are painting a picture far different from the polished image Meghan tried to present, and the panic is only getting louder. Because this isn't just about a streaming deal anymore, this could decide the future of Meghan's brand, her power in Hollywood, and the very survival of her partnership with Netflix. And the truth about how it all started and how it's now unraveling is even more shocking than anyone expected. Back in 2020, when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry signed that eye-watering $100 million deal with Netflix, it was pitched as a revolutionary partnership that would redefine royal storytelling and transform the streaming landscape. Archewell Productions, their new media company, was supposed to become Netflix's golden goose, delivering blockbuster documentaries, binge-worthy series, and a new wave of original content powered by one of the most talked-about couples on the planet. For Netflix, still riding high off the pandemic streaming boom, it was a prestige move, and for Meghan, it was the ultimate Hollywood redemption arc. A chance to step back into the spotlight on her own terms, not as a duchess defined by palace protocol, but as a global creative force shaping narratives that mattered. But fast forward to 2025, and the reality couldn't look more different. Instead of a content empire, the Netflix Archewell partnership is now a cautionary tale, a saga of underwhelming projects, internal tension, and plummeting expectations. Their debut documentary, Harry and Meghan, generated headlines and decent viewership, but it also drew brutal criticism and accusations of self-indulgence. The follow-up projects struggled to capture similar attention, and some were quietly shelved before they ever made it to the screen. Behind closed doors, insiders say Netflix executives began to question whether the $100 million gamble was worth it and whether Meghan and Harry could deliver the kind of cultural impact they had promised. The breaking point came with Meghan's passion project, the lifestyle series With Love, Meghan, which premiered in March 2025. It was meant to be a crown jewel for both Archewell and Netflix, a glossy blend of California chic, personal storytelling, and aspirational living that would position Meghan as a modern Martha Stewart with royal roots. But the reality was far less glamorous. Critics panned the show for being shallow and disorganized, audiences tuned out after the first few episodes, and Season 2 failed to crack Netflix's top 10 inches any major market. What was supposed to be Meghan's creative breakthrough became an expensive disappointment. And in an industry where numbers speak louder than titles, that failure sent shockwaves through Netflix headquarters. Then came the chaos surrounding Meghan's lifestyle brand launch. Originally teased as American Riviera Orchard, it was abruptly rebranded as Ever, just weeks before launch, a decision that sparked confusion, legal questions, and a flurry of negative headlines. Rumors suggest that Netflix staffers who were working closely with Meghan on cross-promotion described the rollout as a logistical nightmare. Internal emails leaked to the press reportedly showed marketing teams scrambling to adjust materials at the last minute, with one staffer even saying, "We're already over it." What was supposed to be a triumphant expansion of Meghan's brand instead turned into another PR mess. And for Netflix executives already frustrated with poor performance numbers, it was the last thing they needed. The tension only deepened when Meghan and Harry's original 5-year Netflix deal quietly expired in late 2025, and instead of a straightforward renewal, the couple signed a far more limited first-look deal. That shift may sound subtle, but in Hollywood, it speaks volumes. A first-look deal gives Netflix the option to review their projects first, but doesn't guarantee they'll be picked up. It's a sign that Netflix is hedging its bets, still willing to work with Meghan, but no longer locked into a costly, long-term commitment. Meghan tried to frame the new arrangement as a strategic move, calling it a decision that gives us flexibility and creative freedom. But industry insiders see it differently. A polite way of saying Netflix isn't convinced. Inside the company, that skepticism is reportedly fueling a growing sense of panic. Netflix has been under enormous pressure in 2025 as subscriber growth slows and competition intensifies. Big budget projects are scrutinized more than ever, and underperforming deals are quickly reevaluated. According to reports, some Netflix executives are privately questioning whether continuing to invest in Meghan is worth the reputational and financial risk. The once golden royal brand now carries baggage, declining public sympathy, constant tabloid drama, and a widening perception gap between how Meghan sees herself and how audiences see her. And if the goal was to build a global media empire, Netflix's patience may be wearing thin. Still, the company isn't pulling the plug just yet. In public, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos has praised Meghan as underestimated and overly dismissed, hinting that the company still believes in her cultural influence. But even that praise carries an unspoken caveat. Belief alone won't pay the bills. If future projects don't perform, the business case to keep Meghan on the roster weakens dramatically. And rumors swirling around Hollywood suggest that Netflix is already exploring other high-profile partnerships that could replace Archewell if things don't turn around. For Meghan, the stakes couldn't be higher. This Netflix deal isn't just another business venture, it's the cornerstone of her entire post-royal brand. Without it, the power and platform she's built since leaving the monarchy could crumble. That's why sources close to Archewell say Meghan is now doubling down on content strategy, pushing for smaller, more targeted projects that require less investment but have more viral potential. She's also leaning into personal branding moves, using her lifestyle products, public appearances, and media interviews to reshape the narrative and present herself as a misunderstood innovator rather than a failed producer. But critics argue that this might be too little, too late. In an entertainment landscape driven by performance metrics and audience engagement, reputation alone can't sustain a deal. The underperformance of With Love, Meghan, combined with the chaotic rollout of As Ever, has damaged her credibility in the eyes of some industry insiders. And as competitors like Disney+, Apple TV+, and even Amazon Prime ramp up their investments in original content, Netflix has more options than ever and less reason to stick with a partner whose projects consistently fall short of expectations. The pressure is also mounting from the public. While Meghan still commands a devoted fan base, broader audience sentiment has shifted. Many viewers feel fatigued by the couple's repeated attempts to control their image through media projects. Others question the authenticity of Meghan's content, accusing her of being out of touch with everyday audiences. That backlash matters because it directly affects viewership numbers in Netflix. Above all else, follows the data. If audiences don't tune in, the platform has little incentive to keep investing. And yet, even as the cracks widen, Meghan shows no signs of backing down. She continues to appear at high-profile events, give carefully curated interviews, and drop hints about new projects on the horizon. Insiders say she's particularly focused on expanding into scripted content dramas and documentaries that move beyond her personal story and aim to reach broader audiences. If she can pull that off, it could breathe new life into her relationship with Netflix. But if those projects stumble like her previous ones, the fallout could be catastrophic. There's also speculation, though unconfirmed, that Meghan and Harry are quietly exploring partnerships with other streaming platforms, leveraging their first-look deal to gauge interest elsewhere. Some reports claim that executives from Apple and Paramount have expressed curiosity about potential collaborations, though no formal negotiations have been confirmed. If true, that could give Meghan leverage in future